British Prime Minister Liz Truss has resigned after just 6 weeks in office. Her announcement comes after a bruising week of U-turns on economic and energy policy and a backlash from her own Conservative Party. In a short speech outside Downing Street, Truss said she can no longer deliver on the mandate for which she was elected.
I came into office at a time of great economic and international instability. Families and businesses were worried about how to pay their bills. Putin's illegal war in Ukraine threatens the security of our whole continent, and our country has been held back for too long by low economic growth. I was elected by the Conservative Party with a mandate to change this. I recognise, though, given the situation, I cannot deliver the mandate on which I was elected by the Conservative Party. I have therefore spoken to His Majesty the King to notify him that I am resigning as leader of the Conservative Party.
Our correspondent Birgit Maas is standing by for us in London. Birgit, Liz Truss has announced her resignation after just 45 days in office as Prime Minister. How did it come to this?
A very short stint for Liz Truss is here in Downing Street, just behind me, and very, very dramatically she has said that she is going to resign. We are experiencing really the implosion of the Conservative Party as we have known it. She's the second Prime Minister this year, and somebody who wasn't elected. She was basically the replacement of Boris Johnson, who disgracefully had to resign, and now she does not command the authority of her party anymore. Basically, there are deep divisions within the Conservative Party. Liz Truss lost the authority because she wasn't able to get her budget through. That was her whole plan. She stood for quite aggressive tax cuts. Those have spooked the markets and created chaos on the financial markets, and that really brought things brought it into rolling. So she was not able, basically, to have the respect of her own MPs, and so no other option as to resign.
So her policies obviously didn't go down well, but Britain's Conservatives themselves have been tearing themselves apart. Why are they so divided?
Yes, really they have, and traditionally they are seen as the party of government. They are seen as the party of economic competence. This is what they have been priding themselves in. But we have seen over the last decades that something was eroding the Conservative Party from within, and that was the issue of Europe. It has divided the party between a moderate, sort of centrist and broadly pro-European wing and another wing which was more libertarian. And those people made sure that the UK left the EU on really the strongest of and hardest of Brexit, with just a free trade agreement but really bare bone. And it's these people that the moderates are fighting. Liz Truss is somebody who comes from the libertarian small state wing of the party, and now she's been ousted by MPs, mostly by the moderate MPs, but even people to the right of the party. She had lost their trust too.
So where does this leave British politics, Birgit? What happens next?
Good question. Liz Truss has said that she will stay in office until a successor is found, and that should happen rather quickly. However, we are already seeing the opposition, the Liberal Democrats and Labour. They are demanding that there should be a general election because Liz Truss herself was not elected by the British people. And in a situation like this, where there is an economic crisis, like other countries, the UK is facing high inflation, it's facing high energy crisis, and that is a very tough situation for a lot of people. A lot of people can't afford to heat their homes. They're really on the breadline and they're in dire straits. So Labour and the Liberal Democrats are demanding that when the country is in such a tricky situation economically, that the British people should have a choice as to which party now leads the country, hopefully, out of the crisis.
Any idea, Birgit, who might take over from Liz Truss as Conservative Party leader and Prime Minister?
Well, so far we have only heard from people who have said they are not going to take over. Jeremy Hunt, who is the newly appointed Chancellor, has excluded himself. The hope was in the last days that the Conservative MPs could find a candidate who they can unite behind, or even a team that they can unite behind. But as we're seeing, with such a divided party, it's proved very, very tricky. And so far, no name that MPs can unite behind has emerged.
Birgit, thank you so much for now. That was our correspondent Birgit Maas in London.